welcome to a new segment of A Few Minutes. So today we have an awesome new guest speaker, National President Rainey here with us, just so that I can put her in the hot seat and ask her some hard questions, because that's my favorite thing to do. As usual, I have here Brittany, Andrea, and David.
Hey, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
Super excited to have President Rainey here. How are you today?
Yes, I'm so excited to be here. Another opportunity to spread the good news about you. We have so much going on, and as you know, our vision is that we are soaring to new heights, and this is just another opportunity to share it.
You know, I had the opportunity to watch President Rainey speak live in person in Philadelphia, 2 years ago. And she's just super, just the way she speaks is very motivational. It's just like, wow, let's do this.
Thank you.
I wasn't the president at the time, but I knew after that conference coming back, I was like, I got to do something. This is really exciting stuff here.
Yes, it is. We've been doing it for 53 years. So, you know, with us, 53 years, we have been around working to create equality, diversity, inclusion, and justice for all, and especially creating that safety zone for women to take that chance and go a little bit higher. So excited to be here and share my thoughts. And the organization's vision.
Yeah, but see, I've been wanting to know for the last 2 years a little bit more about you, President Rainey. Let's get to know you. I've heard you speak, in person. I've heard you speak virtually, but let's get to know you a little bit more. What are some of your favorite things to do?
So a little bit about me. I'm a little Southern girl from a little small town in Union, South Carolina, a population of almost less than 3,000 people. The things I love to do is I'm motivated by helping others, as well as I like to enjoy nature walks, try to assist in a little bit of exercise. You know, I have to take care of my health now that I'm getting a little bit older. So I enjoy adventurous things. I want to be a lot more adventurous once my schedule free up. I want to try skydiving, believe it or not. I know it would shock a lot of people because people look at me and think, okay, your role, I'm straight and narrow and gonna do normal things, but I really want to skydive. Parasailing is fun. I found that to be fun, so why not take it a few thousand feet higher and try doing things of that nature. So I do just enjoying life and enjoying nature and enjoying people. I meet a lot of phenomenal people throughout the country, in the government and outside of the government, and they tell me about their experiences. So I just want to try a little bit of everything. I enjoy learning.
That's on my bucket list also, skydiving, but you're in the perfect group. David's a outdoors guy. Andrea is our running girl.
I've been skydiving too. So
have you? Oh wow! Yeah.
I actually just went again this past April. So
oh wow!
Yeah.
I really
enjoy it.
I know.
But I'm scared of heights.
I think it'll be a different experience, right? You get so much from being there and realizing how vast the world is. It'll be amazing, I imagine.
Yeah, I've done it before in California, and then I've done it on the East Coast too in Virginia Beach. So I've seen both coasts. So that was
from
really
up
cool.
High. Oh my goodness. It's a thrill. You just better make sure that parachute works.
Right.
Outside of that,
I'm scared of heights, so I'm like, do I want to do this? But it's okay. We'll do this together, President Rainey. We'll do this together.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
I'll have to join. That's on my bucket list also. I think we ought to have a session where we just talk about the bucket list.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's the one thing that I try not to do is I look at the things that I'm afraid of, and I learned as a young adult, just take risks, take those chances. Put yourself out there. And so that's one of the things I want to do, because, you know, I'll probably be scared to death as well, but I'm good. I would do it. I still would do it.
I agree. So from from a small town, like what inspired you to go into a leadership role?
When I was younger, I realized that I I was always conforming. I was always I figured my place was to be a team member and all of that. And then one day it just dawned on me that I need to press myself. I have something to contribute. I have something to say. And why not do that? It was more of a calling to, I want to see something happen. I want to envision it, and I think others will agree with me, and let's bring them along for the ride and lead. And when I determined that, I have always been supportive of women issues and causes, and studying why we are, what opportunities we have, and why do we not get the opportunities to advance as far as, and I felt like there was so much talent or things that we have that I could help push forward. And it was more of a calling to just contribute more to the cause. I had something to say and I had something to give, and I knew that I could do that, and to show my vision as far as the organization and leading them. I just knew that I needed to do that from a position of leading versus following. And I took that chance, and thus I became national president of the organization.
What was the process for you to get there? Like, were there any challenges to getting to this position?
My career is IT professional, and in each career that you have, in the nature, if you look at people's career and you study how they get to those positions, they have a specialty. They think in a certain way. So my process of thinking is process oriented. I'm always looking at where we are at this point, and then looking back as to how we got there. I'm always fixing the puzzle, trying to figure out what got people to where they are, and understanding that in my field, I may think a little bit different than people in other fields. So the challenges for me as far as getting into this position was, I don't really think I had any challenges. I think I just made good decisions. There's one thing about me, is that I don't really say no. I challenge myself and I challenge others. I never challenge others to do things that I would not do. I always encourage them to do it with me if they need a hand up. One of the things I learned in college was, I used to always want to help people, which I still want to help people, but I figured it would be better if I reached down versus push up. I used to give my shoulders for people to climb on my shoulders, and I pushed them up to the next level, but I'm still here, right? Instead, I decided one day that I would rather, it would be a lot easier, and it would be a lot more, I will have a lot of opportunities to make a change if I was up, and instead I reached down and pulled them up instead of pushing them up. You know, it's a personal decision of me analyzing life in general.
I like that. I like that. So being a leader, like what do you see as a really, really great leadership skill to have or to grow?
Listening, absolutely. Being able to be adaptive, for sure. One thing that I have learned in these last years as being the president of this organization is, I say it all the time, and you'll see in my literature, being strong. We are strong and we are adaptable, because no one knew that we would face a pandemic. And at first, when I came in, I was a part of a government shutdown, which was one thing. And leading us through a government shutdown, the longest government shutdown in history, was difficult. I wanted to understand how could we help each other to make sure that we got through this trying time. But right after that, we go into a pandemic, a global pandemic, as a matter of fact. And one of the things that I'm so proud of is that my ability to, and my board's ability in particular, ability to adapt to a situation that was unknown to anyone. We have never shut down the country before, to the thing where no one was traveling. You couldn't even attend work. You couldn't, you had a schedule to go to get food and all of those things. It was trying, but we continued on as an organization to push our mission forward. And it just shows how much I believe in the mission and how much the people in this organization believe in, so that we have to be together in order to support each other and create an environment of inclusion and diversity and equity for women. Because a lot of times in our families, if you'll notice, there are a lot of women who have to make a lot of strong decisions that impact retirement, impact funding, as far as household funding, finances, and all of those different things. And we are an organization of resources. We provide those resources to you so you can make educated decisions. So I'm very proud of how we handled this time we're still in right now, and keeping and staying strong. I think it starts with our National Board of Directors. There's governance in place, of course, but not only the National Board supported the vision of soaring even higher, even through a pandemic, but the chapters like yours, this is phenomenal to be a part of a podcast. I don't know if this is the first one we ever have, but this is the first one I have ever heard of as national president. So this is just another example of your willingness and belief in the fact that you have something to say and it must be said so people can hear it, buy into it, and take themselves even further.
And that's exactly why we created this. You know, when the pandemic first started, we were like, well, how can we get the members engaged, keep our chapter going without constantly pushing things, activities on our members, and then also enjoying it at the same time. You know,
Absolutely.
I keep saying this, but I have not, I never knew of Brittany, Andrea, like David before until we started doing this. We really all got to know each other and just bonded. You know, we only meet like this, you know, once a month or so, but it's like I've gotten to know them so well.
And that's one thing that we are known of. Another thing that I'm proud of in this organization is that we have members all over the country, and that networking is beyond belief. These will be your friends or your circle for life. And if you need anything, they will be supporting you. And to see that and to actually feel that and know that is phenomenal. And that's what I think I love best about organizations like ours, especially few.
Absolutely.
Piggybacking on that thought though, after we launched the podcast, some of my female coworkers were asking questions about you because they were looking for another outlet and another way to network throughout the agency and even past the agency. So I think that's been such a great thing to have for all of us too.
Yes.
To Andrea's point, that's what I was going to say. I think this platform that we've created is a great way to network because we don't have to keep it just within our chapter. I mean, the four of us do it on a monthly, but we like to invite others in, or if there are topics that people want to see. So hopefully, you know, we do it within our membership right now, but hopefully at some point we'll be able to grow it to our region and to other chapters to submit topics for us to discuss, or, you know, even have other chapter presidents, chapter members to come in and just I mean, it's conversation, it's fun time.
Absolutely. And I think that's phenomenal because it's so well needed, because some of the same issues that you face here on this side of the country, they faced over on the West Coast, and they want to be engaged as well. So sharing this tool that you have created, or this platform that you've created with them, will be Excellent, excellent, because they want to, you believe in the same purpose, you join the same organization, you have the same vision, but just sharing and bringing that uniformity across the land about your topics, they need them just as much. You know, I always say, once a Fed, they say you're once a Fed, always a Fed, once a few member, always a few member.
It's like our own
It's a
little
good one.
show.
And we have
Yes.
to take that. Once a Fed, always a Fed. Once a few member, always a few member.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. It's just so much going on across, you know, everything in the government, it changes based on what administration you're under. And you can
Mhm.
see that. And so it's good that, you know, because a lot of telework is going on in the federal government, that you have a platform where you can still communicate.
I want to ask you something. So I'm a 33-year federal employee. Been
Mm-hmm.
with you for about 6 or 7 years. But I want to ask you something because you are national president. I want to talk about that battery that charges you and what you do
Oh,
to keep that charge. Especially what I find, I'm similar to what you said about the person that rarely says no, doesn't say no to things. And I've been not only a federal government worker, but I've done a lot of things. I've been president of organizations, and this pandemic especially, it's been a challenge because those volunteer things or other things you get into, they creep into my private space that used to be
they do.
private because
Mm-hmm.
everything's now uh, kind of in my ultimate work site, which is my home. So, how do you keep energized being a national president and all the things that come your way now that we have so much of the sort of quarantine workspaces here?
Yes. And before we were quarantining, I was quarantining because I could work from home. I have always believed in the support of women. I was a chapter president of a local national NAACP, as well as other smaller organizations I was a part of in my church. But I agree, it is something about being at home. I was always a purposeful, I did my purpose in the day, did my work, and then I would go home and be private. And I'm an introvert when it comes to that. But being at home during this pandemic and everything is there, you don't really have an off button. But what I found was, so when the pandemic first started, you know, I sent out instructions that we are not meeting in person. No one should be meeting in person at that point in time because it was just too dangerous and it was too unknown and we didn't want anyone to get sick. But I think I learned during this time that I must have that interaction. I must have personal interaction, but I also want my space as well. So it's about balance in every aspect. So we talk about work-life balance, right? In our personal and private life. But even with your personal life, you need balance as well with that. So sometimes I have to have those moments where I have to step away. And that's okay. You know, a lot of people will communicate with me inside of the organization and say, "Oh, I'm just so tired. I'm so busy." And I just think life is about balance, and we must find what brings us joy to bring us back down to peace, because mental illness is true. And if you do too much of anything, it will absolutely impact your mental health. When mentally you will not be operating to full capacity. And then if you're not together, then you're impacting everything. Then you're no good to anyone. You're using and depleting all of your resources. So it's an individual thing to decide at some point. It's okay to say, no, I cannot do it. Take your time and relax. Because if you're not okay mentally, physically as well, then you're not even doing the things that you're trying, you're just spinning your wheel like the hamster in that wheel. You're just going around in a circle and around in a circle. So I find time for myself to do those things I want to do. I just yesterday went and just saw the downtown. I wanted to see what was going on down there. I will go and take a drive. Just take your mind away, because you're not, ultimately, I impact my performance when I'm not well rested. Everyone needs rest at some point in time.
That means no midnight email messages.
No, that unfortunately, this is the thing. I have a hard time with that. I tend to answer my phone whenever it rings, but how I balance it is when I feel like I am on low or energy, I will just shut down. I need to take this weekend to myself. So I still do send those midnight emails, or they say, do you ever sleep? My board would think that I never sleep, but I think my hours are strange. I have a full-time job, as you know, and I do that. I try to focus on that in the day, and then in the afternoon is my few time. And I happen to be an early riser, so you may see me at 3 or 4 a.m. sending an email. Can't help it though. Have to fit it. You have to fit it all in. It's like those when you were going to college and you had those crash nights. Remember those papers? Try to get all of those papers in and things. Well, we do that in the professional world as well.
So you guys just find your work-life balance a little differently than the rest of us. You while we're sleeping, you're working.
So yes,
you're working, you're taking that mental break for your own health.
I take that little power nap, and then when it becomes too much, I just shut down. That's it. I can't do it anymore. Yeah, so I don't know if we'll call that balance, but everything gets done. I think well.
So David, apparently I'm doing okay.
Yes, you are. I just want to make sure you find that time to, just have you time.
Eventually.
Jump out of a plane or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to do that as well. You have to do that.
You don't do it.
Uh-oh.
See, Brittany is telling on you on.
No.
She is. Sort of. She's telling on you. Like,
it's okay. We're going to get her there. So many awesome things have come out of her working so hard, but she does need to find that her time.
Well, they say the same thing about me. It'll be fine. They'll say the same thing. So I know you will find yourself some time. You need to find some time, because you will, as you get older, you become mentally tired, exhausted, as a matter of fact. So find that time, you have to put it in the schedule, is what I learned, of time for yourself, so you can relax a little bit, because it's just going to make your performance otherwise even that much better.
I have this one question that I like to ask leaders, and for some reason they stumble to answer it.
Okay.
So, people always point out all the great stuff about being a leader and how awesome it is. But what's one thing that you find the hardest about being a leader, but yet still really rewarding?
I would say it would be personality traits of the people I have to deal with. You have to deal with so many different personality traits and adjust and adapt to their style. So while it could be trying, especially dealing with people coming from different backgrounds, different cultures, different experiences, and how they communicate. You have to listen, be adaptable again, and aware of all of the challenges that they have gone to, and adapt yourself to communicate in their language, should I say. So while it is sometimes challenging, basically you are learning about their experiences and what they feel and how they feel. And so it becomes rewarding, because you get another insight as to how people think, and you can make better decisions based on that.
Absolutely. I find it hard. The hardest part is like just dealing with all the different personalities. And sometimes, you have to learn. For me, I'm just not confrontational, so
Yes.
I have to learn how to be, I guess, more assertive.
Yes. I think for in some cases as a leader, and people may not like it. This is the one thing I learned is that everyone is not going to like you. That's just life. Everybody is not going to be your biggest fan. That's just life. So while you're the sweetest thing on earth and you may be the kindest and your intention is good, someone is going to have a problem with it. The fact of the matter is you cannot let that define who you are. You know what your intentions are. You know what you are trying to do. That doesn't mean don't listen to what they have to say. That doesn't mean that there's no value in what they say. But you in life should take every experience that you go through, look at it, see if there's something there, a jewel there for you. Use what you have, what you need, and discard the rest. The rest must go, because you cannot be a wishy-washy leader. You can't. Sometimes you're going to have to make those tough decisions. Tough decisions that people may or may not like, but you have been placed in a position for a reason. That reason is that you have been delegated the voice of whatever you're leading, and you have to keep it moving forward. Imagine a world where leaders didn't have the ability because they wanted to adapt to their environment or whether somebody liked them. How would they ever make a decision? You become wish-washy. So you get the concurrence. I like to gather all information. I sit and I ask questions, and I get all of the information, and then I make a decision and I stick with it. It tends to work best. That way, I think one of the things that I hear a lot is, I don't have enough time. I have this to do when it comes to few and being a leader in the organization. Well, then I kindly remind them that few is an obligation that you signed up for. Few is a responsibility that you believe. I know you believe in the organization because you joined it. Why would you join if you didn't believe? But knowing that my level of participation, my level of support of the organization everyone may not carry it to that level, but understanding that responsibility is responsibility, a commitment is a commitment. You must, or you should, carry out your responsibilities of what type of character you have. So I just think that going into leadership, it's good in nature if everyone agree with you, but probably everyone will not agree with you. And you have to be able to handle that and keep pushing the agenda forward as a leader. And I think they will, ultimately, I believe they'll respect you for your decisions, actually. And versus being liked, they'll respect. And then when you're gone, they'll say, I like you again.
I have a question for you, President Rainey. So you seem to have a very positive perspective on few and women empowerment and just, things overall. So with this pandemic, we did a segment on returning to the norm. What do you think this pandemic, how will it impact few as an organization as we return to our norm, when we start to get back in person? When our conferences are no longer virtual, but they're things like that.
I'm knocking on wood that time is coming very, very, very soon. I think that the pandemic has its flaws, but I think overall it has some blessings for federally employed women as an organization. That it was so many positive things that came out of the pandemic, as far as this podcast. We revamped the entire organization's technological footprint because everybody went virtual. we started communicating and holding events where you can now network and meet people throughout the country through this virtual platform. It was, so I think that while it is a pain and I cannot wait that it's over till it's over. And what is the return to norm? What is norm? We need to define what in the world is norm to us. I think that going back to the traditional way, we will never go back to that way again. Understanding that everybody can work remotely, everybody is communicating remotely. I think we're looking at from this organization, how do we operate in a virtual environment if we had to continue it that way, and press the message a few and get more and more support, because ultimately we're here and our voices become larger when we get more people to understand why our purpose and then come and join and support. I think as far as returning to the way we were before, I think we can only move forward. We cannot go back. What we can do is some things may change and may adapt, but this platform should stay, because that's the way we operate, because that's the way we operate. We learn to operate this way. And it had its advantages because you're no longer limited to a physical location. You're now able to expand and go wherever, as wide as the world is, to be honest. In your topics and your subjects and all of that. You don't need to just communicate in one. We were focused on regions before, and you're in this location. You don't need to have to do that anymore. If you believe and support someone on the East or West Coast, you can now support them remotely. And planes go everywhere. You can travel to go there if you need to for the regional thing. So I think I don't think that what we used to consider norm is necessarily going to be norm anymore. I just hope that we're in the future without face masks. I don't want to have.
Yes, I don't want to agree.
I want to see someone smile at me again. It's something about that interaction that we need. But I think the norm, I think the topic should be new norm. What is the new norm? And what is that? And I think it's still playing out what that new norm is going to be.
Yeah.
To be honest, the new norm is a little bit of this and a little bit of the old, all mixed together until we find a stable place. Because I still think we're unstable because we're still going through this pandemic.
Yeah, I would have to say it has pushed a lot of us out of our comfort zones. And like, for instance, me, I had an opportunity to work as part of the RTP committee for DC Metro Region, thanks to On. But just, connecting with some of the ladies during that time, it's just something I may not have done if we were in office. I may not have committed to.
Yes.
So that's why I was just wondering, what do you think that'll look like once we start to get back in person? When people can get back out into the world.
I think we should. Yeah, I think we should continue with hybrid events. That's what we're moving to next year, is trying to go and have more interaction, because we don't want to limit ourselves as to a physical location anymore. I think networking and actually seeing people is extremely important. I can't wait to that return. But I don't think, as far as delivering the message and marketing the organization and talking about and gathering more support, which is one of our purposes, will be done without being in some sort of virtual environment. And I think our agencies are discovering that less, and it costs less too, by the way.
Yeah, definitely. And I love that FEW just has so many different opportunities. You go on the website, you find like there's so many webinars that are on there for you as members for free.
Yes, absolutely. That's the one thing that was extreme important to me as the president is that we become a resource of information. So that doesn't mean that you have to choose, that you have to determine where you're going to be and do exactly what we say or follow the leader. It's just that we provide the information for you to make informed, educated decisions. So that creates strength and your ability to make a good decision for your life, because everyone is different. What is important, what is a need for me may not be a need for you. So we try to create those a community where we provide resources for federal employees for sure. I know that we have a lot of them coming up. Aetna, who has been a longtime partner, a few, and we have health insurance benefit season coming up, and they want to provide some information. So that webinar is coming up. We also have one that for chapter leaders, which I personally promote, is our bylaws. I believe it or not, a lot of people in different organizations don't understand governance of an organization. And that may be something that you need to use in your future as well. And then we also, today we had our breast cancer awareness program. And then November 9th will be our webinar for in honor of veterans. So it'll be our Veterans Day webinar. So it's so many things. And then, we have our mentoring program that's out there where we match. We actually do a year, it's a class, it's a cohort of training. So you get to graduate from a few class. I'm looking forward to graduating the first mentoring cohort of 2022. And we match members within our organization with senior executives in different agencies so that they can learn from them and gain experience on pursuing, because one of the things that we know for sure is that we're studying the barrier on women going into SES. And we want to be a voice and help with that as well. We've been reviewing this year the MD 715s from our agencies to see the status of women. And we still have work to do. We're not equal.
Well, I will put on the spot. Since it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Women with a Mission is actually we've been doing a bra and toiletry drive and donate to women who are suffering or facing homelessness and other unfortunate tragedies. So we've been doing it at our building, but Ann and I both have been out in the community once, and we're going back out this Saturday to collect bras and toiletries. I Support the Girls. So Ann has a friend that works with I Support the Girls. And so she gave us the idea and we took it and we ran with it. So just to put her on the spot a little while you're talking about all the great things.
That is phenomenal. That is phenomenal. I love doing things like that, provided it, because it's such a need. Congratulations on this event. I love it. And matter of fact, I could donate some toiletries. How about that? Just tell them, let me know who I can ship them to, and I will send some. That's phenomenal. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you.
You're going to help lots of people.
She doesn't like to boast, so we have to boast for her because she does such amazing things for our chapter.
That's just me a big head here.
That's one that we're doing for breast cancer awareness.
Yes, that was great leadership and forethought in thinking of doing something in honor of breast cancer awareness, and much needed. So I appreciate that so much on behalf of the organization.
I'm telling you, I have grown so much being a part of this organization. I mean, I think David will have stuff to say about this, but going into FEW, I was never the one to be like, oh, let me volunteer to do this, or I was just sitting there chilling, trying to see, what they're doing, what's up. Like, this man kind of scares me a little bit.
She was giving me the eye. we'd have events, and she would just sit there and give me the eye.
Oh.
I was just
Well, I'm
paying
glad he pushed you just a little bit. That's what we need to do. Hold each other accountable and push just a little so they can take that next step. And it's all to the advantage of few. So I appreciate that so much.
And I would say another kudos to On. The last 2 years, we have had some of the most impactful events that our particular chapter has ever sponsored. And it's thanks to On. And I will say that
Yes.
she has done an awesome job. And she did win Chapter President of the Year. She won that award this year.
Oh,
For the region, yeah.
congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to you. Oh, wow.
It's put me like into a place I never thought I would. You know, when I went to that conference in Philadelphia, I was very nervous, very scared. I even had a breakdown the first day because I was like, what am I doing here? I don't know anybody. But just meeting all these different people, I met Rhonda, who introduced me to all of the past few presidents. I met the very first president. It was very exciting. I mean, seeing the first president of few sitting there talking to me, I'm like, whoa.
Miss Allie.
Yes.
You realize she's in historical books.
She is such a sweet
That's amazing.
lady, such a sweet lady. And so coming back, I knew like I had to do something just to develop myself. Really, I was focused on self-development. I never thought that I would lead the group or anything like that. It was more stepping out of my comfort zone and doing things that I would never normally do. But I never would have imagined that I would like be able to meet all these people, get to know all these people, and develop friendships.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. For a lifetime. I'm telling you, there I know some members that are 70 and they say, and I was on a Zoom call. It was so funny. I was on one of the regions, I believe it was mid-continent, the call, and I was saying to the regional manager, somehow I said that we create friendships for a lifetime. And one of them said, yes, I know, because I'm sleeping on this couch at one of their homes. I'm like, okay, it's really actually true that you meet when you join boards and you become and you invest inside of this organization, your network expands so far because so many women, it's so many phenomenal women and men and partners of few that want to, because you have that similarity involved in knowing few, that they want to help you. They want to engage with you. They want to invest in you just because of your connection with this organization. And that it makes me so proud. And I started the same way. I was going to assist at a training program. I was a member at a local chapter. And then when one day I decided, they came to me and said, you want to serve on the National Board of Directors? And I said, oh, okay. It was Sue Webster, actually, past President Sue Webster, who asked me to serve. And I served as webmaster for 5 years. But when I started, I had no idea what I would be facing. I absolutely did not think I would be national president of the organization. But I know that everything that I was doing, I took one step at a time, and my only goal was to help. How can I push the mission of few forward and help others get further in their career? And it leads you so far. And then there is nothing like attending a national training program in person. That's why I'm so eager to be in person again, because you see so many phenomenal people throughout the country, especially women. And Miss Allie, I remember the first time I met her, I was escorting her somewhere and I went into her room and she started pulling out some books of her at President, I believe it was President Johnson. She was sitting in his chair in the White House.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, a Black woman, remind you, at that time. And she pulled out the book. Someone wrote about it, and she was going through the book, flipping, and then she said, "Sit here. I need you to hem my pants." What is going on? It was like I was mind blown because first of all, I can't believe I'm sitting with someone here who is a part of the National Women's Monument in Seneca, New York, right? I didn't know. And then she's telling me to hem her pants. Like, mind blown. But it's so many phenomenal people. If you ever had a chance, I had the chance to interview all of the past presidents. So you see their videos on the website, and listening to them and how they started and what they believe. And one of them is Mary Louise Ulick, past president. She comes to the NT programs as well. Phenomenal. So much history. She was a president when she was so young, but her impact, she traveled the country, and she was one of the presidents that traveled overseas. And she told me this thing, General Noriega, she actually met him over there traveling. And she said, I didn't even understand who I was working with. So again, it just speaks to how far reaching our network is. It really is a phenomenal organization to be a part of. And I tell everyone that you never know who you're speaking to and what they can help you with or help someone in your family with. So it's important to be involved. Absolutely. Get involved, network, expand yourself, because it's not necessarily, you may think you're going in it to get something out of it for yourself, but it's going to be so much bigger than that. It will grow to be so much bigger than that. It's relationships for a lifetime. It really is.
That's what I keep saying, members pay $45 to join, and then the ones that sit back and don't engage, I'm just like, but why? Why did you join to begin with? Sometimes you have to put in that hard work to get whatever it is that you're looking for. And I've found that all the hard work I'm putting in, I'm getting a lot of leadership growth.
And you're getting visibility as well. That's the other thing that you don't know. I used to tell my board several times, I was an NTP chair before I was this. And I said, as soon as you step out of your room, realize you're being watched. And I said, so know that you're being monitored and watched. Our agencies know exactly what we're doing. They watch and monitor what we're doing. That recognition, and I could tell you most of my board, I would say at least 60%, more than 50%, have been promoted based on the activities of how much they invest. I think it's just their involvement, their experience. There's just a lot of support for our organization. You can utilize it and make anything to take it to your advantage, but you have to get engaged. You can't just be sitting there watching. You have to be engaged and step out there, and maybe it's just doing a little bit of something that you may not otherwise know that you're getting that experience and you can utilize it and manage it for your benefit as well. But it's up to you to decide to do it. It's important that you decide personally that, hey, I can take this experience here and utilize it in whatever way that you need. That's why I believe that we should be the #1 resource there is where you come and get information. And on that note, I want to mention our legislative alerts that do come out every 2 weeks that let you know what is going on in this country, what is being aware. It's not only on the website, but there are also messages that we send, that I send, that my board sends, that are out there because we are a resource. If you need to know what's coming up, we want to be there to help you. And this chapter does as well through this podcast.
Well,
hey, for all of you podcast viewers, what we had just talked about is so important. If you want to know about Few and what it can do for you, I'm the old guy who's sitting in a rocking chair and I have all these sayings. There is a saying that I have, and it's not who you know, it's who knows you. President Rainey spoke so well about that. Your visibility, when you are in this organization, be a part of it because people are watching, and it's not who you know, it's who knows you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Looking for that opportunity, you need to be a part of it. Who knows you?
Yes.
Network. Expand your network. I even was telling a story this today at work. They were talking about the vaccine mandate, and I just so happened to know someone who sits in the White House. So I said, you need to be aware that this is very serious and all of that. And someone jokingly pinged me on LTS and said, you know, Kamala. I said, you don't know how far my network goes.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So on this note, I don't want to waste any more, President Rainey's time. I know she's a busy, busy lady. She needs her me time, just like I do. So we typically end our podcast on a good note, as in, what's good. We haven't met in a while. So what do you have any good news? Anything exciting happened in the last couple of weeks that you want to share?
Let's see. Exciting in the last couple of weeks. Well, we just had our National Executive Committee board meeting for a few. And one of the things is we have new partners that have solidified for 2022 and being involved. NARF is a new partner of ours. We renewed our agreement with DiversityCom, which is a magazine, and everyone gets a free copy. So we're sending out that information today in regards to, or not today, but soon, will be coming out that you can click to read your new DiversityCom magazine, which is all diversity, different levels of magazines, as well as we're starting a new agreement with George Washington University. So new scholarship opportunities will come from there. Those are the things that I would say. Yes, scholarships to their executive leadership program is coming. So that you'll hear about that soon as well. But those are the new things that are going on. Positive for this week. There's so much positivity, but it's a pandemic. Outside of that, we've been soaring. Our chapters, I created a membership task force to work on leadership of the organization and trying to work on how do we operate in a pandemic and encourage more people. So I could tell you that the future is bright for federally employed women. My vision of soaring to new heights, as you know, throughout the regions and has been pressed, is spot on as far as the members of this organization. Everyone goes higher if you get engaged, but you have to engage in this organization. And I wish nothing but the best for all members of this organization as you join us and soar even higher to even higher heights.
I'm excited. Anyone want to go next?
Me too. I would do the few cheer, but I would blow the mic when I do it. I could do that in person.
Who wants to go next? Or I can go.
I have something. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, I ran my 10th marathon last weekend in Chicago. And
Wow.
thank you. But it was super special though, because this year I fundraised for the American Cancer Society, and I ran in honor of my dad who passed away. And so I ran the race on Sunday, and his birthday would have been Monday. So it was super special that way. So yeah, it was a good weekend honoring him. So, and cross another marathon off my list.
That's awesome. I know you've been waiting to go do one, so that's awesome.
It's been almost 2 years since I've done a race, so it was
how
awesome
many have you done?
In person. 10 marathons.
Ooh, 10. Okay.
And so I have a goal that I just started that I want to do. I just turned 28 last week. I want to run 20 marathons by my 30th birthday. So I'll have to do 5 next year and then 5 the following year. So a lot of running.
Yes.
You're making me
Yeah.
tired already.
I know.
She is well conditioned, isn't she? Well conditioned.
Love it.
Wow. Amazing.
Thank you.
Rainey?
Not yet. I'm thinking.
Okay.
I'll go.
Let me go. I have one. I go. Let me go on. It's another thing to recognize you. Yesterday, we had a great flash mentoring session that on led where it was shared between different chapters in our region.
Yes.
That was amazing. So yes, that was a highlight for, I would say, my whole summer into fall. That was a highlight. That was
Oh,
awesome.
wow.
Thank you, Ann.
Oh, that's awesome. That's something that I love doing. I've found that facilitating things like this brings the joy in me. I
Mhm.
at first, when I did my first facilitation, I was so scared. Like I was sweating, like everything. But then once you get into the zone, when it's your thing, when you just snap into it and that's it. But this one yesterday was the first time I wasn't nervous. It was very relaxed. I was just like smooth sailing, and I knew that this is what I love doing.
Absolutely. That is, now see, that's passion and purpose. There you go. Phenomenal.
But I guess that could be one of my good news that I, got that over. And then the RTP just ended on Saturday. That was a lot of excitement and a lot of work put into that. So I'm glad that that's done. Now that's one check mark off my list. I don't have to send one thing I don't have to send midnight emails about. But one of my puppies have been really sick, and he's finally getting over his whatever it is that he has. So kind of grateful for that. And then, with my husband being deployed, I haven't had any issues. So I'm very happy overall so far. That's my good news.
Well, that's great. That's great. I mean, it's really exciting to hear that that it was such a success and that the RTP made an impact. That's what we're here for. I mean, and I understand it really makes your heart sing when you actually see the vision or the thing that you worked on come to life. So I'm excited for you. That was great news. Congratulations on doing a phenomenal job, which we all knew that you would do. It's just that the impact was so impressive as far as seeing that someone appreciated it so much.
Yes. I'm not very good at hearing comments, but thank you.
I know you put your hands over your face and I said, oh, she's going to have to get over that. You're going to have to say, oh, okay, thank you. I used to do the same thing. That's why. Oh, I just, they do that because they really appreciate and respect you as a person. And it's good to be respected. I think if you start thinking about it that way, that they actually see you, feel you, what you're doing, then it'll ease down. I know how it is because I used to be the same way. But you did as soon as he said something, you was like, I thought it was cute, but I was like, okay. As you do more, you're gonna end up relaxing and accepting the appreciation for all that you do.
I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Brittany, anything good?
No, I have nothing I can pinpoint.
No disaster, so that's good.
Right.
Any bug issues?
Your hair is phenomenal. I can say that.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love the color and all of that.
Thank you. So on yesterday, I said she was lucky I had a hair appointment today because if I didn't, I would have just skipped out on that. No, I've been working on just purpose, both in personal and professional. So I journal a lot. So that's been kind of my focus lately, just trying to, seasons are changing. It's time to, refocus and reset. So that's things have been good in that aspect of trying to find that purpose for this new season. So that's really all for me.
Yeah. And sometimes it's that time where you need to take that rest and contemplate
Yes.
what your next move will be.
Yes, absolutely.
There's nothing wrong with it. That's good to be a thinker.
Definitely.
Overthinker, but yes.
Over is not good though.
I know. Tell me about it. It keeps you up at night sometimes, but no, I'm working on it.
Right.
Well, I want to thank President Rainey for taking her time to chatting with us. It was fun. It was great getting to know you, and thank you for your wisdom and kind words.
Yes, thank you so much for all that you do. On behalf of the National Board of Directors, we appreciate you as well, being members of this organization. And as you can see, all of those out there in the podcast, we have a variety of people in here, all working for the advancement of women in the federal government. Keep soaring to new heights. Thank you.
Yes. Oh, and I'm excited that we are the first podcast, President Rainey. That was my goal, you guys. That was my goal.
Yes, and you made it. You did it. Keep going. Let's keep on pushing her.